Hey, what's up everybody? It's DaCrimsonGhost here, and this video will be the first in a series of tutorials about drawing the anatomy. The name of this series is called the Anatomy Blueprint, and each one of these videos will be saved in a playlist so they'll be easily accessible for anybody. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use basic shapes to draw the male head in any angle you'd like. I will be making another video doing the same for the female face. So go ahead and like and subscribe so you can be notified when I upload in the future. So there's one thing art has in common with ogres and onions. It has layers. First thing we're going to do is create a new layer. Let's go on the lower right of the screen and select the square icon with the plus inside. I like to think of drawing like building a house, and the first thing you do when you're building a house is you start with your blueprint. Next, we will double click the word layer to change the name. Let's use the name blue since we will be working on our blue. Now, let's choose our brush. I'll be using only the default brushes in these tutorials so anyone can follow along easily. To select your brush, either press B on your keyboard or select it on the toolbar on the left of the screen. Next, we will select the circle icon in the menu bar to open the brush preset picker. Then we will choose the soft round brush and adjust its hardness to 50%. This way we can build up our line work gradually. Make sure the pen pressure is on by pressing the icon on the top in the menu bar. And now let's adjust your eraser. Always make sure your eraser has the same settings as your pencil. So either press E on your keyboard or select the eraser icon in the side toolbar. Then in the preset picker, choose the soft round and change the hardness to 50%. First, we would start by drawing the head that is divided into 3 equal parts. Let's start with a circle for the cranium. Inside the circle, draw a vertical and horizontal line that creates a cross in the center. These are your horizontal and vertical lines of symmetry. Next, we will cut in on both sides. No skull is a perfect circle. There are 2 indents on both sides. So you can get a better understanding, let's take a look at it from the 3/4 inside view. Let's create a vertical line to help us understand this indented space better. So if you hold down Shift while clicking and dragging your pencil down, you'll be able to create a straight line. To find the length of the circle, divide the top and bottom halves of the vertical symmetry line into 3 equal parts. The top of this space starts at the 2nd division. The end of this space ends at the bottom 3rd division. It should be 2/3 of the total height of the sphere. Some people use this bottom line for the nose, but as long as you're in the general area, it should look fine. I usually just use the bottom of the circle. There aren't rules, these are more guidelines, so feel free to do what you please. The final product can always be adjusted on your blueprint. It's totally up to you. For the profile view, let's make an oval instead of a circle. Since from this angle, the head is a lot longer than what you're looking at from the front view. And then for the indented space, it would be an oval as well. The top view, or as some call the bird's eye view, should look something like this. The length of the jaw will be the same size as the top 2/3 of the cranium. divide the bottom half of your circle on the vertical symmetry line, and this line will mark the eye line. Now let's define the cheekbones in the outer end of the chin. Starting from the outer ends of the brow line, draw a curved line coming down to the outer end of the chin. Next we will draw the curved lines for the temple. So starting from the eye line, draw sort of a curved V shape that dips at the brow line and curves back out up towards the top of the head. I always say that the jaw is like a rectangle with a flattened triangle at the bottom like this. Now for the 3/4 view, draw a straight line down from the center of the brow line to the chin. Now the side that this line is on will determine which angle he is looking. Now let's find the curve of the jaw. In the indented space, draw a straight line down in the center from the brow line. This line will stop on the halfway point in that bottom third division of the head, and this is where we'll start to curve into the chin. For the cheekbones, you will start in the center point on that brow line inside the indented space and draw a curved line down to the chin, similar to how you did on the front view. Let's draw our eye line again at the 1/2 point on the vertical symmetry line at the bottom half of your circle. For the side view, first let's mark the bottom where the chin will be, and then we will go to this center vertical line inside the indented space and follow it down to that 1/2 point, the bottom third division, and then we're going to curve it right into the jaw. Now for the front of the face, you can just draw a line curving into the chin, starting from the horizontal symmetry line coming down to the chin. Now for the cheekbone, start at that center point right where the vertical and horizontal line makes a T, and curve that line all the way down to your chin. And for the eye line, let's divide that bottom half of the spear yet again into the 1/2 point on that vertical horizon line. And this will basically be a simplified version of the jawline. It's just a rectangle with a left triangle. Now we will map out the features on your blueprint. Divide that top section of the head into thirds. The 2/3 line will be the line for your hairline. The horizontal line of symmetry will function as the brow line. The nose line will be the bottom of the cranium circle. The eye line is at the 1/2 mark between the nose and the brow, and the eyes either sit on, above, or below that line depending on the style that you're drawing. The mouth line sits on the 1/2 mark between the nose and the chin line. This line is where the lips meet. Now that we have finished all 3 angles of the head, now let's determine which angle that the character is looking. In order to determine the angle in which your character is looking, whether up and down or left and right, you're going to use this cross area where the vertical and horizontal lines of symmetry meet, and you're going to draw a straight line out. This line will be known as the line of sight. So if your character is looking up, the horizontal line of symmetry will be up higher on the cranium, and the line of sight will be pointing upwards. And if they are down, likewise, the horizontal line of symmetry will be lower on the cranium, and that line of sight will be pointing down, just like this. So this concludes our blueprint, and now that we have our blueprint finished, we move on to the next stage, which is construction, which is where we lay out the features of the face in their proper places. So let's start with our eyes, and we like to go by the general rule that the distance between the two eyes are one eye's length apart. And we use the eyes to measure where the rest of the features on the face will be. So just pay attention to how wide or how close together you draw it, because it will affect the aesthetic of the face. Now, if you want a step-by-step on how to draw the features, I will be making a video in the future for each one, so be on the lookout for that. Next, we'll draw the eyebrows and have them just below the brow line, with just the top of the eyebrows touching that line. And depending on the emotion and the aesthetic of the face, it will be on or below, could even be above, but it just depends on what you're going for. For the nose, the distance between the nostrils will line up with the tear ducts for your eyes. And as I said before, I usually use the bottom line of the cranium circle to map out where the nose should be. Some people like to use the bottom line, that would be where the indented circle would be. It's totally up to you. For this drawing, I'm probably going to do it just a little bit below the cranium's bottom circle line. The mouth will be located at the 1/2 point between the bottom of the cranium circle and the chin line. The corners of the mouth will align with either the center of the pupil or the edges of the iris on the inside. And it depends on what you're going for as far as the aesthetic. Some people are drawing wider mouths, some have smaller ones, so the ear will sit between the brow and the nose line. And the hairline, as I said before, if you divide the distance between the brow and the top of the head into 3/3, it'll sit right at that 2/3 mark. This blueprint can be used to draw various characters with different aesthetics, and so experiment, use it as you please. I'm just going to draw another head here just to give another example. The reason why we're starting with the head in this series is because just like how the eyes are used to map out the layout of the other features on the face, we're going to be using the head to not only measure the height of the body, but also to map out other features on the body. Now let's draw the features on the other two angles of the face. Drawing the features on the face in the 3/4 view is basically the same as drawing it on the front view, except they will be going back into perspective and you have to foreshorten them. Basically, the parts that is closer to the viewer will appear bigger, and the parts that is further away will appear a little bit smaller, and they'll be going back on an angle in perspective. And I'm going to be doing entire videos on both perspective and foreshortening, so be on the lookout for those. And in this stage, feel free to be as rough as you want. This is still the blueprint stage. You're going to fix everything up inside the final stage, which is the final polish. So as you can see, I'm still pretty rough in here and everything is not perfect. Now, let's have a look and see how the features will line up on our blueprint. As you can see, the nostrils will line up with the tear ducts for the eyes, and the corners of the mouth, depending on your aesthetic and how wide that mouth is, will either line up with the center of your pupil or on the inner ends of the iris. The distance between the eye will be about an eye's width apart, and the distance between the outer corners of the eye from the side of your head will be about half the size of an eye distance apart. Okay, now we come to the final stage in our process, which is the final polish, which is where we pop a new layer and then draw our final line work above our blueprint to make our line work much more crisp. So for this, I decided to go with a very, very dark red, almost like a dark burgundy. Choose whatever color you like, just make sure you don't go completely to black, as most artists would probably tell you. Things can look a little too cartoony, so just make sure you stay away from completely black and choose whatever color you like. And don't feel bad if you don't get it right away. It just takes practice. Like most people say, it takes 1,000 bad drawings to make one good one. Now, you don't need to do that many, honestly. Just do it a couple times and eventually you'll get it. It took me a little while, but eventually it just clicked. And then it's basically like riding a bike. You'll be able to do it over and over again and won't really forget it. And this concludes our video. I just want to thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions for a video that you guys would want to see next, feel free to just write that down inside the comment. And feel free to check out my Twitch, where I will be giving live advice to all subscribers. The link will be in the description of the video. But until then, have a great one, and I hope to see you on my next video.